Welcome everyone to the second half of our AGM today. Before I start, I just want to go through a couple of things. So those of you, I know some members weren't in the first part of the meeting and have just joined us now, but for those of you that were in the first half of the meeting, you'll remember I mentioned in my speech that I will strongly advocate for respecting everyone and promoting a message of love for all and hatred for none. I want that to be reflected in this chamber this year and hopefully beyond this year. But we're all here to serve the people of the great borough of Kirklees, and we must do that with the utmost respect and humility. And when I say respect, I would appreciate if that was carried throughout this chamber, cross-party, not looking at anybody in particular, any group, any... no, not you, John, just happened to be looking in that direction, but no. No, that's just cross-party, mutual respect for all. It's the basic requirement. And if we can do that, I'm sure we'll get through the meetings productively and serve our communities who are looking at us to do the right thing for them. So thank you, everyone. Also, for the benefit of our new councillors, on the console, when you are wanting to speak, it's the large black button here in the middle that you'll need to press, and we'll know that you've pressed the button, and when it's your turn, you'll get to speak. So without further ado, I want to move on to agenda item 3, which is the minutes of the previous meeting. I move that the minutes of the meetings of Council held on the 6th of March and the 20th of March 24 to be approved as a correct record. Is that seconded? Thank you, Councillor Smage. Please vote by a show of hands. That is carried. Thank you. Agenda item 4, declaration of interests. Members who have any disclosable pecuniary interests which would prevent them from discussing or voting on any item should disclose their interests now. Are there any interests to declare? If there are any interests to declare, I'd just like to remind all members that you will have an opportunity to complete the form and submit it to the clerk by the end of the meeting. Agenda item 5, the Mayor and Chief Exec's announcements. Chief Exec, do you have any announcements today?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just one announcement really, and it's in your agenda packs at page 15 and 16, which is to advise the official return of the election of councillors held on the 2nd of May as set out at agenda item 5. Thank you. And I just wanted to, while I've got the mic, just thank Julie for her ongoing service, and she finishes, she leaves the council. She did say she wanted a quiet send-off, so I'm not sure we've met now. Julie, did you want to say anything?
I'm just looking at my picture up there and I look very red in the face. I wasn't expecting that applause, so can I just say thank you very, very much. I wrote a couple of words down at 2 o'clock this morning when I woke up, so I don't know whether I'll be able to read this or not. Who knows? I might have to get my glasses out. Can I just say congratulations to and thanks to Councillor Burke and Sinead for all the work that they did last year. Thank you. And also congratulations to you, Nosheen and Shiraz, and also to Liz on your appointment. So I wish you lots of luck moving forwards, and also to all the newly elected councillors. I congratulate you and hope you have a successful 2 years in office. It's a bit of a strange job being the monitoring officer. I've been here nearly 11 years now, and you've kept me really busy until the last minute, and I think you might be keeping me busy today. Who knows? I'm full of admiration for everything that you do. And the more I see what you do and what you have to put up with on a day-to-day basis, you do an amazing job, is what I want to say. I know some of you sometimes come across me because there's been a complaint, or I have to deal with you, but actually, by and large, I think you all do an amazing job, and it's become worse. It's become worse, actually, and the pressures on you have become worse in the 11 years that I've been here, with all the social media pressure and the expectations of members of the public. It's actually something that they don't understand what you actually have to do and what you have to put up with. So I congratulate you on actually taking that on board well, for the next 2 years, all the rest of you, and we'll see what happens then. So I want to wish you all the best of luck for the next 2 years. I think Kirklees is an amazing place. I've actually done 2 stints here. I wouldn't have come back if I didn't think so. And lots of people have said great things when we were doing the ceremony earlier. So I'm not going to repeat that, but I'm just going to say thank you, and thank you for your applause. It's much appreciated, although it's made me a bit red in the face. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Can I just echo the words of the Chief Exec, and a personal thank you from myself for all that you've done for this council over the last 11 years. I'd also like to welcome all councillors to the new municipal year, including newly elected councillors. That would be Councillor Ahmed, Councillor Arshad, Councillor Bramwell, Councillor Darji, Councillor Darwan, Councillor Holt, Councillor Longstaff, Councillor Cahoot, Councillor Robinson, Councillor Ryler, Councillor Sewell and Councillor Vickers. And could I please invite any tributes to former councillors Steve Hall, Manisha Kaushik, Shabir Pando, Musrat Parvez and Jackie Ramsey. Carol. Sorry, Councillor Patterson.
I don't mind. I answer to Carol. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I would like to play tribute to the two new from the Labour Group, our 2 new councillors, Jane Ryland and Angela Sewell. So congratulations to them. And then, yes, it's very sad to have to say that we've lost 3, 4, 5 experienced councillors who have served this council and their communities well over all of the time that they have been councillors. I do understand the circumstances that led to, unfortunately, their deselection by the electorate, if I can put it that way. But we have lost some very dear and valued colleagues, so best wishes to all of them. And then just to say to Julie as well, I mean, you know, thank you, Julie, for everything that you have done. You have been very fair, absolutely brilliant as a monitoring officer. And I have to say thank you too for your recognition of the hard work that our members do. It puts more work on your shoulders, I know, or you've had all that work put on your shoulders, but I really appreciate the fact that you appreciate, and you've said that today, about how much our members do mean to people out there and how important it is for democracy. So, thank you.
Sorry.
This is strange for me calling you Madam Mayor. Thank you, Madam Mayor, and Nosh as well. I'd like to pay tribute to my ward colleague who's gone, ex-councillor Jackie Ramsey. She was a ward councillor for 3 years and 1 month. And in that time, she worked very tirelessly for the Dewsbury South ward. Through the COVID period, she was very instrumental in setting up a food bank in the ward, and she still volunteers with that in the ward as a volunteer, and she's helped many constituents throughout her time as a councillor in that ward. And she was also a cabinet member for adult and social care and health. so contributed towards that as well. So I'd like to wish her all the best, and thank you. And Julie, thank you ever so much for your time and advice that you give, and you'll definitely surely miss, but I know your successor coming in, she's got plenty of experience, Samantha. So once again, congratulations with what you're doing, and thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ahmed. Councillor O'Donovan.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I would like to say a few words just to recognise the immense hard work of Musarat Pervez, who we lost at the recent elections. Musarat was first elected in 2016. If ever there was an epitome of someone who's dedicated hard work and resilience, and it was Musarat, notwithstanding anybody else in the room really, because Musarat would be signing a passport form in the morning and she'd be arranging a funeral for somebody late into the evening, and all the planning applications and licensing issues in between. It was a staggering amount of work that she did really, and that needs recognising. And similar to the comments of Councillor Ahmed, Musarat really kind of grew into herself really during that COVID period, leading the arrangement of food banks and food deliveries during that period of time as well, and really taking that on. She was a great support for me. Hopefully I was for her as well. She'll be missed by the council, but she's already referred in little bits of casework into me already, so I know the community is still going to Musarat, which is great, and she'll do her very best to help people like she always does. And yeah, thank you, Julie. I know it's a lot of chocolate bars going around. The rumour is they're coming from you, so I'll come to find you in a little while. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor O'Donovan. Councillor Andrew Marchington, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I could say a lot about all the councillors who've not on, but I just want to pay particular tribute to Jackie Ramsey. When she was first elected, she became a member of the Children's Overview and Scrutiny Panel, and the really thoughtful contribution, questions she asked, particularly about are we making sure that children from black and minority ethnic communities are being looked after as well as possible, fed into the questions that we then went on to ask at Corporate Parenting Board. And it elicited some really good responses from officers, instigated a lot of work, and it just shows you how through scrutiny asking the right questions can lead to work taking place and actually to make sure that the policies we're implementing are as robust as possible. I was really pleased to see when Jackie was appointed as chair of the Adult Health and Wellbeing Scrutiny, and again had the pleasure of being on Over and Scrutiny Management Committee with it. Again, those really insightful questions that she used to ask, and the willingness to listen as well. And she was just a lovely person as well. So I am, the electorate has its say, but I'm sad to see Jackie no longer a member of this council, and hopefully in the future she might be. So again, and just again, I was just remembering the words of the votes of thanks, Julie. So the hearty thanks of the council for the quiet and efficient way you've done your job as monitoring officer. And I think a number of us in this chamber will have appreciated the way, not just the decisions you made, but the way that you've done it. It's been really appreciated, and we wish you all the best in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Marchington. Councillor David Hall.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Firstly, I'd like to associate myself with the thanks that's been given to Julie Muscroft for her work and for her integrity and her professionalism over many years. Thank you, Julie, and I hope you enjoy your retirement. Secondly, to add our congratulations to the new councillors in the chamber. And thirdly, just to say a word about the councillors who lost their seats. Nobody wishes people to lose their seats, well, apart from when you're the opposition, of course. But it can't be a nice thing to lose your seat. But what we've to remember is that these people who are no longer in the chamber will have had their own successes, and they'll have their own achievements, which are still there, and people, I'm sure, will appreciate that. And so we send our best wishes for whatever venture they go into next. Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Councillor Anwar.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to start off by congratulating you on your appointment. Me and Nasheen shared the same high school. She was a year older. She did boss the playgrounds. She did boss the playgrounds of West Burnham. I still believe she'll boss the chambers here as well. And I want to bid farewell to Julie, who was been like a second mum to me since becoming councillor 2 years ago. Yeah, she's constantly babysitting me in some of the chaos I've created, especially over the last 3 months. And I want to appreciate her services to Kirklees, and I want to welcome all the new councillors to the chamber, and I want to pay tribute to the councillors that lost their seats. And like my great leader Benazir Bhutto used to say, democracy is the best revenge. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Anwar. Councillor Viv Kendrick, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Congratulations to you and the Deputy Mayor. I just want to speak about 2 people. There are many, many people we could talk about. One is Steve Hall, who was 24 years a councillor. Steve really sat on chaired planning meetings for quite a lot of years, and probably there wasn't an awful lot that he didn't know about planning issues. I miss him as a walk colleague. He's worked with community groups, and he was one of our chief pothole spotters. I do miss that, perhaps. And I think the sadness for me is the organisational memory that is lost when a long-serving councillor leaves. It is a big loss to the council. And the other person I would like to pay tribute to is Jackie Ramsey. I didn't know her as a ward councillor, obviously, because she was in Dewsbury South. I knew her and got to know her as a cabinet colleague for a relatively short time, but I have to say she was incredibly hard-working. Her ability to take a strategic view over complex issues was astonishing. And I do miss her. I miss being able to, it's probably a very vulgar expression, take the piss out of her on a regular basis. And, you know, I can only thank her for her time and wish her well for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kendrick. Councillor Cooper.
So, happy retirement, Julie, and welcome to the new mayoral team. I want to say particular words about Jackie Ramsey. We found ourselves on the opposite sides of the debate over the closure of dementia care homes. But how she conducted herself during that was, I thought, exemplary. She was given an extremely difficult job to do, something obviously I didn't agree with and many other people didn't. But she fronted it up. She didn't hide. She didn't leave it to officers. She went out and saw people. She turned up at the meetings. She dealt with people who were going through some very difficult times. And that's probably, I think, one of the most difficult jobs a councillor's got to do. Obviously, we asked for a solution to be found, and a solution was found. And so I do appreciate that. And so I have immense amount of respect for Jackie and what she did during that difficult time. And so I wish her well.
Thank you, Councillor Cooper. Councillor Darwan, please.
This one. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you, Lady Mayor. And secondly, I'd like to say that I'm delighted that I am the councillor for Dewsbury South and I got elected. I would also like to pay a tribute to Jackie Ramsey, who has done a tremendous amount of work. She's been absolutely brilliant. She's knocked on every door that needed her help, that I'm aware of, and I'm just sorry that she had to go, but we had other things, and I'm happy to be taking her place, and I hope I can do justice for the work that she's already done and carried out. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Darwan. Councillor Martin Bolt.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations to you and to your deputy on taking office. I think you and I probably met about 11 or 12 years ago when you were President of the Students' Union, and I'm pleased to say that you've carried on your public service, and congratulations and good luck for your year.
Thank you, Martin. And can I just add, I've not forgot, I owe him a lift because at the time when we first met, Martin was the mayor of Kirklees, and he offered me a lift home, and I took up the offer, so I do owe him a lift in the Civic Batmobile. I've not forgot Martin.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And just to add context to that, it was in the mayoral car and other people were present.
Thank you for clarifying that. My husband is in the public gallery.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Could I add my congratulations and thanks to Julie for everything she's done for Kirklees. I think Julie came when I was mayor as well. And in the intervening years, I think our paths have crossed on a number of occasions. Usually when I was on the Standards Committee, I think. But I'd like to thank Julie for your service to Kirklees and for your professionalism. May I wish you well in everything that you do and your retirement and the future. Tributes have been paid to people who've retired and left the council. I wonder, Madam Mayor, if I could ask, therefore, for the officers for some clarity. There are rumours going around the chamber that some members may today have left their political groups. Can the council be informed what that situation is, please?
Just in response to your question, Councillor Bolt, no, unfortunately, it's not a matter for this council at this moment in time, but we can pick that up at a later time. Thank you. Councillor Sokol, please.
Madam Mayor, can I first of all congratulate you on becoming the first female youngest Muslim mayor. Thank you. I'm well pleased to see you on this chair. And congratulations to Liz for Deputy Mayor. Thank you. Mayor, I thought, because we left out one councillor, nobody spoke about her, Manisha Kaushik. Yeah? I thought the ward councillor will say a few words, but nothing coming from them. Yeah. So, Manisha been elected in 2016. She served this council 8 years. Yeah? She was full-time councillor, and she been very high-profile job on as a deputy chair of the West Yorkshire Transport Committee, and she has been taken up and served on other influential committee. So, my wishes go to Manisha Kaushik. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sokol. Okay, is there anybody else that I'd like to add to the tributes under item 5 before I move on to the next agenda item? Yep. Councillor Scott.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations to you and also to the Deputy Mayor today. So, Madam Mayor, I have an announcement. When I embarked on my journey as a Dewsbury East councillor, it was driven by profound passion to represent and serve my community. After years of working within the community, I felt a strong calling to enter into politics to better amplify the voices of the people that I deeply care about. This passion has guided me every single day, and it continues to do so. I believe wholeheartedly that diverse voices across Kirklees deserves to be heard, not stifled by the confines of one single political affiliation. This is a commitment I undertook and you undertook when we all become councillors. So today, Madam Mayor, I have a significant announcements to share. I've informed the Chief Executive and the Labour Party of my decision to resign from the Labour Party. I am now free from any... No, don't. I'm now free from any political ties within this council. I'm not stepping down as the leader of this council. I was elected to serve till 2026, and if this council wishes to change that, the Constitution provides a clear path. As leader, my duty is to ensure that this council's interests are protected, its operations are effective, and its reputation is upheld on behalf of the people of Kirklees. No party holds the majority in this chamber, and we cannot afford for a period of uncertainty, poor behaviour and tribal bickering. Our focus must remain steadfastly on our communities and the needs of the borough people. The Council, like many others, is facing severe financial challenges. This is well known, yet sometimes I wonder if people in this chamber actually understand the full gravity and actually appreciate it. Under my leadership, the Council has painstakingly achieved a balanced budget. This must be maintained and further steps will be necessary, with some decisions needing to adapt as circumstances evolve. It is time for a new era of collaboration and transparency. Many within this council and among the public have long called for this, but the conditions have never been right. Now, with a leader ready to make it happen, the time has come. Therefore, I'm making changes to our cabinet. I hereby appoint Councillor Habiban Zaman as the Cabinet Member for Children's, with the statutory responsibility for the children's. The Cabinet will begin its work immediately, and I will appoint up to 7 additional Cabinet members as soon as possible. And I invite all councillors, regardless of your political affiliation, to discuss how they can contribute to these positions and find a new way of working. These discussions should take place within the next 10 days to ensure a full Cabinet is operational swiftly. Having served in various roles within the Council for many years, I've come to realise that the current party political system is beyond reform. It's weighed down by excessive baggage of history of poor behaviour and abdicated responsibility. We all share the responsibility, and it's time to take stock. I'm ready to lead a fresh start, and I urge everyone in good faith to join me in achieving the best possible balance to reflect Kirklees' complexity and its in a non-partisan manner. This path is not easy. The residents of Kirklees, like many across the country, are disillusioned with the current political system and often hold politicians in low regard. The rise of the independent councillors nationwide speaks volumes about this sentiment. I'm committed to trying something better. The real question is how, and how many of you will join me. To the residents of Kirklees, I want to assure you that this decision is born out of my unwavering commitment to you. We face unprecedented times, and I believe that by uniting as one council, we can harness our collective strengths and overcome the challenges ahead. Together, we can create a future where every individual, every family and every community thrives. We cannot go on like this, driven by uncontrollable thirst for power at all costs. It is everyday lives and our residents that matter, not partisan politics. People are yearning for solutions and hopefully futures for their children. It's time to make a stand about what truly matters. I look forward to leading a new administration with the integrity, vision and unwavering focus on delivering for the people of Kirklees. So let us move forward, united in a purpose and determined with resolve. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Scott. Councillor Hall.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think, given what we've just heard, we ought to have an adjournment so that the leaders can meet next door and decide what the way forward is.
Okay. Council will now adjourn for 15 minutes. We'll meet back here. Thank you. Okay, thank you everyone for your patience and welcome back to the meeting. It's been quite an eventful first meeting. I'm sure you'll all agree. And I appreciate that we are almost, it's almost 5:30. It's been a long day for us all. So I just want to go back to what I said at the start of the meeting. I know there'll be a lot of questions. I will be asking for legal advice as I'm going along. But please cooperate so we can get through this as smoothly as possible, so we can all get out at a reasonable time. Hopefully, I can get home before the kids are in bed. I'd like to spend some time with my girls today. So I was coming towards the end of agenda item 5 before we adjourned the meeting, and that was the announcements from the Mayor and Chief Exec, and then I think it was Councillor Scott that had made an announcement. Councillor Pattison, sorry.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Please can I call a point of order? The Labour Group would wish to call for an extraordinary council meeting to be held on the 12th of June, at which the first item of that agenda would be a vote of no confidence in the leader. Thank you.
Just tell her that's not a point of order.
Councillor Pattison, I have been advised that that is actually not a point of order. Sorry. So, as I was saying, I'm going to pick up on agenda item 5, where we were taking any further announcements. Do any other members of the council have any further announcements to make before I move on? Councillor Tay.
Congratulations on your role, and I think you're dealing with what is a baptism of fire incredibly well, so well done so far. In light of recent events from earlier this afternoon, I wish it to be made publicly known that I will not serve in the Cabinet under the current leader, and I therefore resign my Cabinet post with immediate effect.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. Councillor Crook.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations on your appointment, and to you, Liz Smurge, on your appointment too. I'd like to echo Graham's sentiment there. I'm not willing to serve in the Cabinet under any leader which is not a member of the Labour Party, of which I am still a member and proud to be so. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Crook. Councillor Pattison.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, a further point of order. Can we bring forward item 15, which is the dates of next meetings of the Council, to the next item? Thank you.
Again, Councillor Pattison, I have been advised, unfortunately, that is not a point of order. Thank you, Councillor Kendrick. I'm having to look at everybody's surnames because I don't want to have to keep referring to you by your first name. Sorry. So I'm going to close agenda item 5 and move on to agenda item 6. Thank you. So agenda item 6, apologies for absence. Are there any apologies for absence? Councillor Sokol.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mayor, I got an apology from Councillor Jane Ryla and Councillor Gwen Lowe. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further apologies from any group? No, we will then move on to agenda item 7.
Right, I just want to pause that because you can do this bit now.
Yeah.
Just so that we can keep going on straight through the rest of it.
Yeah, okay. On the back of recent events and in order to ensure that the business of the council can continue, it is proposed to look to make decisions on items on the agenda. So in relation to items 13, 14, 16 and 17, it is proposed to consider an additional recommendation to delegate authority to the monitoring officer to make any changes to appointments in consultation with the group business managers based on revised proportions, and revised proportions will be circulated to members. Can I invite any member to move this recommendation?
Thank you, Mayor. Again, congratulations on your new appointment, and
And sorry to see Julie go. But yes, I'll move that recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lawson. So Councillor Lawson has moved the recommendation. Do I have a seconder?
Mayor. I'll second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. So we have a proposer and a seconder. So we will take that to a vote. A simple show of hands, please. All those in favour?
Hang on, I think because it's going to... Okay, keep going, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. That is carried. Thank you.
Yeah.
So back to agenda item 7, proposed revisions to the terms of reference for Health and Wellbeing Board. Proposed revisions to the term of reference for the Health and Wellbeing Board and reference from Corporate Governance and Audit Committee. Councillor Homewood, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations on your election. I move that the Council approve the updated terms of reference for the Health and Wellbeing Board and that the authority be delegated to the Chair for the appointment of the Deputy Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Homewood. Is that seconded?
Seconded, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. Right of reply, Councillor Homewood? Sorry, are there any comments on this matter? No. Right of reply? Okay.
Is that...
Sorry, you've thrown me. So, can we have a vote by show of hands, please? Is that carried? Yeah, that's carried. Thank you. Agenda item 8, amendment to arrangements for Corporate Planning Board, reference from Corporate Governance and Audit Committee, page 31. Councillor Homewood.
Yeah, thank you. I move that the proposed amendments to the arrangements for Corporate Parenting Board be approved. Thank you.
Is that seconded?
Seconded, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Are there any comments on this matter? Right of reply? No. Can we vote by a show of hands, please? That is carried. Item 9, proposed amendments to contract procedure rules, reference from Corporate Governance and Audit Committee, page 41. Councillor Homewood.
Thanks. I propose that the proposed amendments to the contract procedure rules be approved.
Is that seconded?
Seconded, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Are there any comments on this matter? Right of reply? No. Okay. Can we all vote by a show of hands, please? That is carried. Item 10, proposed amendments to financial procedure rules, reference from Corporate Governance and Audit Committee, page 77. Councillor Homewood again.
Thank you. I move that the proposed amendments to financial procedure rules be approved. Thanks.
Thank you. Is that seconded?
Seconded, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Are there any comments on this matter? Okay, we'll move to the vote. If there's no comments from yourself. Okay. Vote by show of hands. That is carried. Item 11, proposed amendments to the Council's Constitution, reference from Corporate Governance and Audit Committee. Councillor Homewood.
Cheers. Just quickly say on this one that, just for context from the report, there was quite a number of changes that were proposed to the Constitution at the Corporate Governance and Audit Committee. The majority of those were not approved at the committee because we felt there was a need for some more time to discuss that amongst the groups and amongst, especially with the composition of the council ever changing. So we felt there was some additional things to look into there. So I think broadly, hopefully, the changes here are relatively straightforward, and I'm sure you've all read that. So I will move that the recommendations as set out on page 93 and 94 be approved.
Thank you, Councillor Homewood. Is that seconded?
Seconded, reserve the right, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Are there any comments on this matter? No. Councillor.
Amendment to the Council's procedure rules. It is to the amendments to motions, and it's really about the good governance of the Council. At the moment, amendments to motions can appear an hour or half an hour before a meeting, that if we're showing them in leading members. And so there isn't proper time to consider amendments to motions. And for us to consider those motions properly, I'm proposing what happens in other councils, that we have amendments published at 5 o'clock the day before the meeting to allow groups to properly consider them. What that would mean is that if we supported something, we could vote for it. But whether you support something or you don't, it means that we can properly consider amendments that are put forward, and it'd be part of the good governance account and would respect members in terms of them being able to look at matters and come to a view about them. So I think it's fairly uncontroversial, and please support this proposed amendment.
Thank you, Councillor Cooper. Do you have a seconder for that? Thank you, Councillor Allison.
Some comments. Councillor Vote had already indicated.
We're talking about the comments on the amendment.
Yeah, so these are comments on the amendment. Okay, Councillor Bolt.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And again, congratulations. And don't forget you volunteered for this.
You're right.
Firstly, minded today of the words originally from Oliver Cromwell, which I think are appropriate for us to consider today. You have sat here too long for any good you have been doing lately. In the name of God, go. If that's appropriate to anybody in here, please take that on board. Madam Mayor, in preparation for today, I asked the officers to confirm that the council procedurals we were considering were those amended by council on 25th of May, revised June 2023, and they told me they were. In which case, Madam Mayor, could I suggest that we look at the introduction to those? That introduction says that following the introduction of the local authorities, police, crime panels, etc., of 2020, meetings of the council or committees may be now held remotely, and refers to item Rule 51. I was under the impression that following COVID and everything, the ability for the council to hold meetings remotely and make decisions had been rescinded.
Just want to clarify, Councillor Bolt, was that a comment on the amendment or the substantive motion?
It's a compliment. It's on the amendment, because the amendment refers to the procedure rules, and therefore I'm seeking clarity that procedure rules we are amending are actually up to date. Because if we're referring to an act of Parliament which has been rescinded as the basis for our procedure rules, we could do so also.
Julie?
Yes, they are up to date. That does refer to some old legislation. However, it's still possible to hold meetings remotely. Some licensing committees and other committees are still able to be held remotely. But thank you for pointing out the inconsistency. It doesn't mean that the rest of the council procedure rules are incorrect. Councillor Bolt.
Thank you, Julie. Councillor Hall.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is just a comment on the amendment. I'm nervous about it. I understand why Councillor Cooper's brought it forward, because you can see the logic of knowing what the amendment is and being able to consider it and give it to the group and say, what do we think? But the thing I'm nervous about is that it does rule out the capability to change something which is patently wrong. I mean, we've had motions before, we've had to amend because they're just wrong. And we move in a motion to say, it says in here that this is wrong. We've got to move it. It's a matter of fact. It's a matter of error that something has got into amendment and it needs to be amended. And sometimes the person that's putting forward is unwilling to do that on a drafting amendment. So I think we'd be foolish to actually rule out the possibility that we do amend things on the day. I admit, in a perfect world, we would all like to see the amendments up front, no problem. But I just think that we might throw the baby out with the bathwater if we pass this one.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Councillor Lawson.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm of a slightly different opinion to Councillor Hall. Often happens. So yeah, I think actually what's offered in the amendment is very simple.
yes, it can cause quite a lot of confusion having those last-minute amendments. And I think what it does is it strips out, you know, we've been talking today about the opportunities for cooperative working. What can happen with those last-minute amendments is that you can lose some of the detail in there, some of the things that you actually might like, and the opportunity to produce composite amendments and to produce a better amendment, a better motion through cooperation. And we've had examples where that has happened in the past, where we've said, actually, this is half right, I'm going to amend that, but that takes time. And I think this addresses that. So my group will be supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lawson. Councillor Cahoot.
First of all, congratulations on being on your new post. Very well done. I'm familiar with the family. I went to college with your brother and your sister Salma as well. So I know the kind of competition you've had, and that's refined your skills to be where you are today. So well done on that. And with reference to this motion, I would say, being a lawyer, you know, you have very strict directions with what you can submit and can't submit in court. And when people turn up on the day with new documents that they seek to rely upon, the judge often refers to it as trial by ambush, and it's only in very exceptional circumstances, if it's going to be in the interest of fairness and justice, that those documents are allowed and those amendments should be allowed. So I think as a general rule, we should have more notice. There should be directions that, yes, the night before, 5 o'clock the night before would give people ample time to consider and avoid this trial by ambush. However, to have a system whereby not to preclude, to have an exception to that rule, whereby if something was going to be in the interest of fairness and justice, you could have a little window of flexibility where you might allow something within the final hours. So generally speaking, I would say yes, it should be by 5 o'clock the day before. Only in exceptional circumstances should anything come outside of that. And that's just my view with reference to that.
Thank you, Councillor Cahoot. Councillor Pattison, please.
Yes, I can concur with both the Liberal group and for the Greens that have proposed this amendment. Yes, it is commonplace within many other authorities to have those amendments at least the day before, if not even longer. I do agree that receiving something at the very last moment does not give our groups even the opportunity necessarily to properly consider an amendment, whether or not we want to actually amend the amendments or not. If there's any, to address Councillor Hall's point, if there is anything seriously wrong with an amendment or the actual motion in the first place, we can always throw it out.
Thank you, Councillor Pattison. If there are no further comments on the amendments, I want to go back to Councillor Cooper for a right of reply.
No, I'm happy to move straight to the vote.
Okay. So we are going to go to the vote for on this. So we're voting on the amendment, and I am going to ask members to use their consoles for this vote. So just for clarity for the new members, if you are going to vote yes, it's green, amber is abstain, and against is red. Yeah, just give IT a few moments just to set it up. Oh, they've gone for it. Thank you. Okay, so everyone, we got everyone there? Yeah, okay. Okay, so the amendment is carried. I'm now going to go back to the substantive motion, sorry. So we are now voting on the original motion. So, yeah, as amended. Are there any further comments on the motion as it stood? No? Okay, so we'll go back to the vote.
Just see if there's a show of hands for that, for the amendment.
Yeah, we will change things up and we will go for a vote by show of hands this time. So, all those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. Item 12, to appoint the committees, boards and panels of council for the 24-25 municipal year, page 113. Councillor Sokol.
Madam Mayor, I move that approval be given to the establishment of the committee, boards, panels, as listed within the report in accordance with the Council's constitution. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sokol. Is that seconded? Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations on your term. Apologies I couldn't be there for the ceremony earlier, and I will second that, so thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Are there any comments on this matter? Okay, we'll go straight to the vote. We will vote by show of hands. All those in favour? That is carried.
Item 13, just to remind you, this is one of the items that we're going to be adding the amendment to, so when we go to the vote, that is built into the amendment revised recommendations.
Right. So, agenda item 13 is the one that we discussed earlier, where we approved the recommendations. So, when we take the vote on this now, we're going to...
Once it's proposed and seconded, we
yeah.
assume that that's built in.
Right, okay, so once we've got a proposer and a seconder for this, and we do go to the vote, we're going to assume that the recommendations that were approved earlier are already built into this item, and that will be the same for items 14, 16 and 17. Okay. So, firstly, to agenda item 13, allocation of seats, and I'm going to deal with this matter in two parts. So, firstly, we've got to determine these committees and boards where the requirements of sections 15 and 16 of the Local Government and Housing Act 1989 shall not apply. Councillor Sokol.
It's on 13, yeah. Madam Mayor, I move that the requirement of section 15 and 16 of the Local Government and Housing Act 1989 shall not apply to Overview and Scrutiny Management Committee and Health and Wellbeing Board for the municipal years. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sokol. Is that seconded? Councillor Smith?
Thank you, seconded. Thank you.
Are there any comments on this matter? Okay, we shall go straight to the vote. Vote by show of hands. All those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. So, part 2 of item 13, the number and proportion of committees, boards and panels. Councillor Sokol.
Madam Mayor, I move that the number and proportion of members of committees, boards and panels be in accordance with the report as set out at the agenda item 13. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sokol. Is that seconded? Councillor Smith.
I'm a little bit confused. We're just going back to the... I know you clarified it beforehand, but... Apologies, Mohan, but did you not just say we're referring to the document we've agreed? Am I confusing this here? Can we just clarify what I'm seconding? Am I seconding that we're going to defer to the monitoring officer in conjunction with the GBMs for the allocation of seats? In that case, I'm happy to second. Thank you.
If it's easier, just to clarify, Councillor Smith, what the Mayor said was that we were agreeing items 13, both parts, as they are substantive, with the additional recommendation that subject to, we will circulate further information that would be then delegated to the group business managers. So that on all 13, 14, both parts 13, 14, 16, 17, that additional recommendation will be added in. So we will keep reminding people, but that additional one keeps getting added in every time.
Thank you for that, Steve. Is that clear? Okay, thank you. So is that seconded?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Sorry, happy to second on that clarification.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Are there any comments on this matter? We'll go straight to the vote. Vote by show of hands. All those in favour? That is carried. Okay. Item 14, membership of committees, boards and panels. Councillor Sokol.
Madam Mayor, I move the membership as set out in the table report be approved and that be allocated of any outstanding places on any committees, board, panels, or substitute subsequent amendment be delegated to the group business managers. Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Sokol. Is that seconded? Councillor Smith?
Thank you. Yes, happy to second.
Thank you. Are there any comments on this matter? Okay, we'll... Yes.
Hello.
Councillor Munro.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Mrs. Mayor. I'd just like to make one change to the panel, which is the scrutiny panel for growth and regen, and I'd like to replace myself on that panel with Councillor Corhall-Burke, please. Is that all right? Thank you.
Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Lawson?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I'll second that.
Seconded. Thank you. Okay. Get the vote on that.
So I think we just need a show of hands that that amendment is agreed.
Yeah.
Is everybody willing to
Yeah.
get that amendment?
Okay. So with the amendments that have been proposed by Councillor Munro, we'll take the vote on that amendment.
Is there a point of order question?
Sorry, Councillor Smith, do you have a point of order? Or... Yeah, Councillor Hall?
Have we just accepted what was in from the business managers for the appointment of these panels, or was it not meant to be? We were delegating that to the monitoring officer in conjunction with the GBMs.
Yeah. You can make the change to the GBM. You're dropping that then.
Okay, so we'll drop that amendment. Councillor Lawson, are you wanting to come in?
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Yeah.
After clarification, we'll drop that amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lawson. So we'll go back to agenda item 14, membership of the committees, boards and panels. That was moved by Councillor Sokol. Is that seconded? Councillor Smith.
Thank you. I'm going to second and reserve the right, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further comments on this matter? No? Okay, we'll go to the vote. Vote by a show of hands. All those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. Agenda item 15, dates and times of committees, boards and panels, page 119. Councillor Sokol.
Madam Mayor, I move that the dates and times of meeting of committees, boards, panels be in accordance with the schedule at agenda item 15.
Is that seconded? Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll second that and reserve the right. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any comments on this matter? Councillor Pattison.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Can I ask for an amendment to add an extraordinary council meeting to be held on the 12th of July? The agenda will be... June, sorry, 12th of June, with the first item on the agenda to be a vote of no confidence in the leader. Thank you.
Councillor Hall.
Thank you. I believe that under the amendment that Councillor Cooper's just put, which the Labour group supported, they're not entitled to move an amendment without notice unless we knew about it by 5 o'clock yesterday.
Thank you, Councillor Hall.
It's amendment to recommendation, you can allow it.
Okay.
But you need to tell her she can't put forward she can add a date, but it's just a normal council meeting, it's not an extraordinary one.
Okay, so, sorry, can we just have one meeting in here, please? So I understand that that's not an amendment to the recommendation?
Sorry, it is a recommendation.
So it is, sorry.
So therefore it can be allowed.
So it can be allowed. However, you can't ask for an extraordinary council meeting, but you can ask for a additional meeting. Yeah, thank you. Are you asking for an additional meeting, Councillor Pattison?
Yes, for additional meeting, thank you.
Just hang on.
Sorry, Councillor Cahoot.
Is that seconded?
Yeah. So, Carol, you're proposing, okay, I need a seconder for that. Is that seconded? Councillor Crook?
Seconded, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Taking any other further comments? Okay, so we have a proposer and a seconder, so we are going to go back to using the consoles and taking a vote on that. So, again, all those in favour, press green, abstentions, amber, and against, red.
First test. You need to vote.
I've voted. Well, it's not going to make a difference.
Not going to make a difference. Yeah, moving out. That amendment falls.
So that amendment falls. Okay. Back to the original item 15. Are there any further comments on the original matter? Okay, so we have a proposer and a seconder. I'm going to take that to the vote. Can we have a vote by show of hands, please? All those in favour?
Now, do we want to do it on the machine?
Okay, I'm going to refer it back to the console instead because it seems a bit confusing. So could you vote for that, please, using your consoles? Thank you.
This is substantive.
That's carried. Okay, that is carried. Item 16, appointment of members to joint authorities, page 131. Councillor Sokol.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I move that the recommendation as set out on page 131 of the report be approved.
Thank you, Councillor Sokol. Is that seconded? Councillor Smith?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Second to reserve the right.
Thank you. Are there any comments on this matter? Okay, we'll move to the vote. Vote by show of hands. All those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. Item 17, appointments to outside bodies and other committees, page 135. Councillor Sokol.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I move that the recommendation as set out on page 131 be approved.
Thank you, Councillor Sokol. Is that seconded? Councillor Smith.
Thank you. Second and reserve the right.
Thank you. Are there any comments on this matter? Okay, we'll take that to the vote. Vote by show of hands, please. All those for. That is carried. Thank you. Item 18, appointment of spokespersons on joint committees and external bodies to reply to oral questions at council meetings, page 141. Councillor Sokol.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I move that the recommendation as set out at page 141 be approved.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Sokol. Is that seconded? Councillor Smith.
Thank you. Second that.
Thank you. Are there any comments on this matter? Councillor Bolt.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And for the purpose of consistency, for those members who have been in the chamber before, you will remember that whenever we've asked a question of the spokesperson for Kirklees Active Leisure, they've read out a brief from the solicitors for Kirklees Active Leisure saying you can't comment on anything from the charity because it's a closed matter. So I therefore ask, what's the point of appointing a spokesman who can't speak?
Speak at the meeting, not at this council meeting.
So Councillor Bolt, my understanding is it's for them to speak at those meetings and not the council meetings. Thank you. So if there aren't any further comments on this matter, I'd like to take it to the vote. All those in favour, vote by show of hands. That is carried. Thank you. Item 19, appointment of chairs of committees, panels and boards. The schedule for proposed chairs and lead members has been tabled. I propose that the nominations are put to vote en bloc and the contested positions are dealt with by a separate vote. So to begin with, therefore, please can we vote on the appointment of all non-contested positions. Councillor Sokol. Councillor Hall, sorry.
Point of order, please. We have some further nominations for these positions, so could we take them one by one, please, and then we can vote on each one as they come.
Just ask for a second.
So it seems like we have a second. Are you seconding that, Councillor Marchington? Yes. Thank you. Okay.
So we'll take them line by line.
That's fine. So we will do it. Sorry, Councillor Pattison.
The Labour Group also has additional nominations to make.
Just take them line by line, and then we need a first and a second for each candidate. Okay. Councillor Scott.
Councillor Scott.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We also have an additional person to nominate.
Thank you. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to take each panel or board at a time, one at a time, and we will vote individually for all those persons that are nominated. And are we going to be using consoles?
We're going to have to. We'll move to this one. We're going to do votes for and against each one.
So we'll get to that later. We're doing this one first, aren't we?
But that's the kind of process that we need to go through for each person. So for each person, let me just check. For each person,
Sorry, we're just going to get a bit of clarity around how we're going to do this and how it's going to work for everyone. Thank you.
So just while we gather thoughts, we just need to make sure that the people that you are putting forward as chairs are on the committee that you've just agreed. So you can only put people forward for chairs that are on the committee you've just agreed, if that's okay. And
Sorry, Councillor Taylor.
That was the point behind the clarity we sought.
Sorry, Councillor Taylor, I'm just going to have to stop you for a moment. Councillor Taylor is speaking. I did, right at the start of the meeting, say we need to respect one another. And part of that respect is when someone's speaking, the rest of you need to be quiet. Sorry, Councillor Taylor, continue.
That's us told. Yeah, the reason we sought clarity earlier on the earlier item was because there are some changes we do want to make to memberships of the committees, which will inform some of the decisions we want to take now, which is why I asked that question earlier. Otherwise, we would have moved amendments earlier on. So I think we need to just deal with that somehow. Thank you.
sorry, members, that took a little bit of confirmation. So I think what we've found, in item 14, you agreed that subsequent amendments would be delegated to group business managers. If, when you are putting chairs forward, they're not on a committee and they get elected as the chair, we will deal with that as a subsequent amendment. Yes?
Yes.
So that if you do vote that person in at this meeting, the group business managers will therefore have to adjust their membership to make that subsequent amendment. Agreed?
Members, thank you for your patience. We're going to reconvene now. Thank you. So, the way we're going to do this is the Chief Exec is going to call out each committee and panel, and each nominee will need a proposer and a seconder. We will take it one at a time, and we will be voting using our consoles. Okay, so I'm going to hand over to Steve now. Thank you.
So, appeals panel, you need a proposer and a seconder for each person put forward. So,
Councillor Lawson.
Thank you, Mayor. I propose Councillor Longstaff as the panel chair for appeals.
Thank you. Is that seconded? Councillor Marchington. Thank you.
yep. Next one, next nomination.
Next nomination, Councillor Pattison.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Munir Ahmed.
Thank you. Is that seconded? Councillor Crook. Thank you. Are there any further nominations for appeals panel? Thank you. So we're going to take that to the vote, and we'll do it alphabetically. So we will, the first vote will be for all those in favour for Councillor Munir Ahmed. Please use your consoles to vote. Yes, so use your consoles as you normally would. So for, against, abstain. Yep. So we take Munir Ahmed first. So that falls, doesn't it? So that falls. We will now take the vote for Councillor Longstaff. Could you please, again, use your consoles to vote? That is carried. So the chair for appeals panel will be Councillor Longstaff.
Next one is Corporate Governance and Audit Committee.
Councillor Will Simpson.
Thank you, Chair. I nominate Councillor Harry McCarthy to chair Corporate Governance and Audit Committee.
Thank you. Okay. Is that seconded? Councillor Patterson? Okay, thank you. Councillor Hall?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll nominate Councillor Taylor.
Is that seconded? Councillor Smith?
Thank you. I'd like to second that. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further nominations? Okay. So we are going to take the vote for Councillor Harry McCarthy first. So please use your consoles. I've left mine in my bag. I left my phone in my bag first, now I've left my glasses. My eyes are hurting. That falls. We will now take the vote for Councillor John Taylor.
Hang on, wait, well, there we go, it's coming.
Okay, that is carried and Councillor Taylor is elected as the chair. Thank you.
Next committee, District-wide Planning Committee.
Do we have any nominations? Councillor Homewood?
I'm just going to propose Councillor Shakeola.
Thank you. Is that seconded? I'll second that. Councillor Patterson, thank you. Are there any further nominations? Okay, we'll take that to the vote.
Just in case.
Just in case. Just going to be safe.
Next committee is Licensing and Safety Committee.
Councillor Patterson?
Thank you, Chair. Can I move Councillor Amanda Pinnett?
Is that seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you, Councillor Crook. Councillor Scott?
Thank you, Mrs Mayor. Can I move Adam Zaman, Councillor Adam Zaman?
Is that seconded? Councillor Hussain? Thank you. Any further nominations? Okay, we'll take that to the vote. So we will take... Ooh.
Amar Anwar, please. Thank you.
Is that seconded? Councillor Bramwell?
Can I second it, please?
Thank you. Are there any further nominations? Okay, so we will take the votes for Councillor Anwar first. That falls. We will now take the vote for Councillor Amanda Pinnock.
Just hang on, let them close that one first.
Is that everyone? Is that a tie?
Nomination, but then you've got to call out Adams and then you've got to still allow Adams and then.
Okay, so we'll make a note of those votes and we're going to go on to vote for Councillor Adam Zaman.
I'll wait for it.
So that falls. That falls. So Councillor Pinnock is elected as Licence and Safety Committee Chair. Thank you.
Next committee is the Overview and Scrutiny Management Committee.
Councillor Hall.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to propose that Councillor Liz Smage is nominated for this position. I think it's very important that with all the uncertainty in the Council at the moment, we have a brief period of certainty because it's an important position. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Is that seconded? Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to second that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Lawson.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to propose Councillor Burke as Chair. He's displayed a very good judgment and very good impartiality in the mayorship, and I'm absolutely sure that that would go forward and play out through the scrutiny panel as well. He's done children's before, so he knows his way around to scrutiny, so I would recommend that to the Chamber.
Thank you, Councillor Lawson. And can I remind members, one meeting, please? Do we have a seconder for that, Councillor Lawson? Thank you, Councillor Marchington. Thank you. Councillor Safdar?
Yes, sorry, I was with a second, Carl Burke, yes.
It's already been seconded. Yep. Is that okay? Okay. Are there any further nominations? Okay, so we're going to take... Yeah, so we're going to take that to the vote. You'll be voting for Councillor Burke first. Okay, that is carried. Councillor Burke is elected. Oh, no, we're going to still, sorry, we're still going to take, sorry, Councillor Smage, sorry. It's been a long day, can you tell? I'm getting to that point now. Right, okay, can we now use our consoles to vote for Councillor Smage? Is that everyone? Okay. That falls and Councillor Burke is elected. Thank you.
Personnel Committee is next.
Councillor Crook?
Councillor Carol Patterson.
Do we have a seconder for that? Councillor Davies? Thank you. Do we have any further nominations? Councillor Hall?
Seeing as Councillor Scott is still leader, I'm going to propose Councillor Scott.
Do we have a seconder? Oh. Thank you, Councillor Taylor.
Councillor Scott, she's okay with that. It's across the chain.
Councillor Scott, can I just check with you that you're happy with that? Okay. Okay. Which one are we taking first?
Patterson.
Okay. So we're going to take the vote for Councillor Patterson first. Okay, and now we're going to go to the vote for Councillor Scott.
Just wait till that closes down a sec. Keep an eye on IT colleagues, very busy for that.
They're all eager beavers, that's what it is.
It's coming. There you go.
That's carried. Councillor Scott is elected. Thank you.
Next committee is Standards Committee.
Councillor Hall?
I nominate Councillor Armour.
Is that seconded? Councillor Smith?
Thank you. I'd like to second that.
Thank you. Councillor Patterson?
Can I nominate Councillor Harry McCarthy, please?
Thank you. Is that seconded? Thank you, Councillor Crook. Any further nominations? Okay, we'll take that to the vote. We will go with Councillor Armour first. Okay, and we'll take the vote for Councillor McCarthy next. Is that the second part of it?
We're just doing them all the same now.
Right, okay.
That was originally just the contested ones. They've all been contested.
I think they've done. That falls, doesn't it? Yeah. That falls and Councillor Armour is elected.
Sorry. Strategic Planning Committee.
Councillor Pattison.
Can I nominate Councillor James Homewood, please?
Is that seconded, Councillor Crook? Thank you. Any further nominations?
No, straight to the vote.
No, going to go straight to the vote. I'm That's carried.
Statutory Officer Dismissal Committee.
Councillor Pattison.
Can I nominate Councillor Moses Crook, please?
Is that seconded? Councillor Davies? Thank you. Are there any further nominations? Councillor Hall?
Yeah. Again, this is a committee which is traditionally chaired by the leader. I propose Councillor Scott.
Is that seconded? Councillor Marchington, thank you. Are you okay with that, Cathy? Sorry, Councillor Scott. Okay. Any further nominations? Okay, so we'll take the vote for Councillor Crook first. Okay, and now we'll take the vote for Councillor Scott. That's carried. Okay, Councillor Scott's elected.
So we're now moving on to the scrutiny panels. First panel is the Children's Scrutiny Panel.
Councillor Hall.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I nominate Councillor Ali.
Councillor
Tret Ali.
Ali, thank you. Councillor Ali. Is that seconded? Okay. Councillor Marchington. Councillor Pattison.
Can I nominate Councillor Paul Davies, please?
Is that seconded? Thank you, Councillor Crook. Are there any further nominations? Yep. So we'll take the vote for Councillor Ali first. Councillor Davies. We will now take the vote for Councillor Davies. That falls and Councillor Ali is elected.
Environment and Climate Change Scrutiny Panel.
Councillor Pattison.
Can I nominate, please, Councillor Hannah McArcher?
Is that seconded? Councillor Crook, thank you. Councillor Allison.
Could I nominate Councillor Andrew Cooper?
Is that seconded? Councillor Lawson, are you seconding that? Thank you. Any further nominations? Okay, so we will take the vote for Councillor Cooper first. Who was the other nominee? Gertrude. Thank you. We'll now take the vote for Councillor McArcher. Okay, That falls and Councillor Cooper is elected.
Growth and Regeneration Scrutiny Panel.
Councillor Pattison.
Can I nominate Councillor Serena Amin?
Is that seconded, Councillor
Seconded.
Cook? Thank you. Are there any further nominations? Okay, we'll still take that to the vote. Okay, that's carried.
Health and Adult Social Care Scrutiny Panel.
Councillor Pattison.
Can I nominate Councillor Gwen Lowe, please?
Is that seconded, Councillor
Seconded.
Crook? Thank you. Are there any further nominations? Councillor Cooper. Is that seconded? Councillor Safdar. Any further nominations? Okay, so we'll take the vote for Councillor Lawson first. Okay. We'll now go to the vote for Councillor Gwen Lowe. That falls. That falls. Councillor Lawson is elected.
We need to do that bit, don't we?
So the meeting of the council has now concluded. However, please remain seated for the meetings of Licensing and Safety Committee, Overview and Scrutiny Managed Committee and Standards Committee.